When it comes to large devices, I used to think that the Galaxy Note line was the beginning, the end, the middle, the everything, until other manufacturers start making devices. So the LG G Flex is definitely unique in its own right, and packs more punch, I think, for end users when it comes to large screen devices. Let's do a revisited video for the LG G Flex. So when I post a video for a device that I already have and I name it Revisiting or Revisited, the G2 Revisited, the BlackBerry Z10 Revisited, I'm giving you an update basically on how the device is doing and if it's still something that I think is entertaining or is keeping my attention and making me want to keep it even longer. And the LG G Flex hasn't been on the market in the US that long, but I've had it for a long time, or since it came out, I should say, which is a long time because most people don't keep phones very long. But the LG G Flex definitely is a device that will keep your attention because of the design elements of the phone and what it can do, and just overall the overall experience of having a large screen device with pretty much all screen. And I think that's what counts a lot to me. The button placement on the back of the device definitely does a lot for me. I really enjoy having the buttons on the back now. I thought I wouldn't be able to get used to that until I bought my G2, and then after buying the G2, you know, I bought the G Flex, and I thought, wow, this is something to get used to, because in essence what it does, it gives you more screen. There's no buttons along the side, so the hardware can be built differently. And also LG markets it as though it's easy to get to these options, and that's perfectly fine, it does. But to me, I like the design element of this phone, and I also like how big the screen is, and it's pretty much all screen. I love that feature. Even when it's in a case, like I have this case here that I've been using for the G Flex. Did a review on this already, check it out if you haven't. And I also have an outer box, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a review on the black outer box shortly. That should be coming up probably Saturday or so. But the device itself keeps me at a point where, you know, when I use my smaller devices for web browsing and things like that, it's very difficult to not pick up this device. When you start getting into the keyboard and things like that, it can really make you come back to a device like this because you get so much real estate. This is a SwiftKey. If you're not using SwiftKey, please hurry up and get it while it's free. Great keyboard, much better than the stock experience on here. And the stock experience, I think, for when you're talking about keyboards, I think the LG G Flex has a great stock keyboard. Let's go into, I'm gonna switch it back to the stock keyboard since we're here. I'll go ahead and show you. This is the stock keyboard, and I believe here, let's go into settings, you can actually customize the stock keyboard. And I think that's, again, that's another thing that I like about the LG products. They kind of give you some customizations already built in. So let's go to the LG keyboard, go down to advanced settings, and you can see here the basic themes that they have. So you can, there's normally more themes in here, but as you can see, I can download some themes here from the LG world, and you can download all these different keyboards. I have a Smart World installed. It doesn't come on the device. So when you hit download, it takes you to keyboards and themes, and you get to choose all these different keyboards here. So that's the plus about having this device. I'm just going to download it, you know, no biggie. But with SwiftKey, they have their themes already there. Now on the G2, there's several different colors that come already preloaded. The LG G2 G Flex is a little different. It doesn't come with all the different themes preloaded, but you'll have to sideload the Smart World like I did in order to just have it launch like that for your keyboard. So now that drawing keyboard is in there, and I just apply it, back out, and boom, you know, here's my keyboard. So I go back, and then there's the new keyboard. So that's, you know, some good things about the keyboard aspect of the phone, but I prefer SwiftKey for my default keyboard. I think it's fantastic. But when it comes to web browsing, on this device, it'll be very difficult to pull up a web page on a smaller phone after looking at it on this device. I have the brightness turned all the way down so it can show pretty nicely on the camera here. But when you're doing web browsing, there's tons of web browsing adventures that you might take. Most people live on YouTube like I do. I'm always on YouTube, just kind of surfing and scanning and, you know, just checking things out. And I think the web browsing experience obviously is going to be better on a bigger screen. And when you're holding this phone like this, you get the ultimate screen resolution or viewing pleasures when you're holding this device, because the curve then plays a huge part of why you're using this device for media content. So I'm going to actually show you a video, not from the web page, but from the actual YouTube application, and look at the way it looks. It looks very nice on the 6-inch screen. So here is, let's grab the Vogue full review, and I'll increase the brightness. That's what I'll do, so you can actually see. Turn it on auto. Speaker quality on this device is fantastic. I can't stress it enough. It is a fantastic speaker, and it's just this little speaker right here. It is really loud. Impressive for today's standards. 960 by 540, 5-inch QHD display. It does the job. It's a really nice screen. Quad-core processor, clocked at 1.3 gigahertz, 1 gig of RAM, 4 gigs of RAM, 4.2. So, getting an idea of what media content would be like, that's it. This device is made to soak up media. It is a large screen device, and use it if you're gonna use it. You're probably buying it for media content, or if you have larger hands, this fits you perfectly. Speaking of fitting, alongside web browsing and media content, the device itself feels fantastic in the hand. After a while of using the type of device with the curved screen, it's very difficult to go back to a flat device. Several people in the house, in my house, have a G Flex actually, and most of us pretty much have a smaller device, or not so much a smaller device, but a device that's smaller than this one, or just a different platform like an iPhone 5S or something like that, and this phone. And switching back and forth, I can tell you firsthand, it is very difficult. I found that I've been using my G Flex here every day, and when I pick up the other devices, it's almost weird. I can't describe it. Now, some people ride the fact that it has a 720 display. Well, if you're caught up on specs, okay, yeah, it doesn't have a 1080p display. But if you get away from that, there's not many flaws, and I've read plenty of reviews on the G Flex after posting my review, and I think a lot of people are so caught up on specs they miss out on great devices. Every device has a market. Every device has a person that it'll suit. Now, everybody can't have a big device like this, and everybody won't like a curved display. But this display is, or device period, they don't want a curved phone like this. But this is very comfortable to hold. And if it was in a smaller form factor, let's just say they made a 5-inch display screen, like the same phone, just put it with a 5-inch display and shrink it down to that size, it would almost, I don't know if it will feel comfortable or not. I don't know how it would feel. So having it at 6 inches really gives you the real estate that you want, and it's comfortable to hold. Another plus about having this device is the weight. When I'm speaking about holding, it's only 177 grams, and I say only because there are other devices that weigh less, like the Galaxy Note 3, that feel heavier. So the way they have this device built feels fantastic. Good job, LG. I think having the buttons on the back here, this back layout, really does a great job, because to me it frees up all this real estate that they could possibly use when it comes to building the hardware. Web browsing, media content, the way a phone feels. Another thing is HD calling. On the T-Mobile network, you get HD calling, and this phone is no exception. It can do HD calling, and it is super clear. if you watch the because of the microphones and everything and the technology itself, but one thing about the microphones on this device, it has this microphone here and then the noise canceling mic up here. I shot the Vogue full review with this phone to test it out, and the sound quality is stereo-like. Check it out for yourself. Check out the video of the Vogue full review. I shot it with this device. I didn't have my camera next to me at the time, and I really wanted to get that review up, so I grabbed this bad boy here, locked it into my stand, and put it on and start recording. And you can tell the quality of my voice and the sound of that video really is stereo-like. It's really sharp, very clear, in the tones of my voice. This device does do 4K. I never thought about posting a 4K video. I don't have a 4K TV. I've seen some 4K videos out there, samples, and that's great. It does 4K, but 1080p is fine for me. Recording in 1080p is fine for me. Having a screen that's 720 is fine for me, and that'll be fine for most end users. If you have never experienced this device itself, go try the G2 for size, because G2 has a 5.2-inch display and it has a 1080p display, but it's pretty much this same phone as far as spec wise. It just has a 1080p display. Software, everything is exactly the same, but this one has a few more kinks to it that makes it unique. But other than that, you're getting a fantastic large display and a great cell phone. I can't stress enough how thin this thing is and how compact it is. Now, obviously, I have bigger hands, so I'm going to say that it's not that big. Well, it is big, but it's not as hard to handle as you would think. The fact that they have this one-hand mode in here, it's it's nice. I don't use it for the dialer, and I don't use it pretty much at all, but the swipe buttons I like. But other than that, man, I think the device itself, the way it's set up, the way it's built, the screen, the overall appearance of the device is unique in its own. And I rated it very high in the full review, but this is just me revisiting it again because I've been using it so much. I don't want to put a case on it, so I put a little thin case on it when I do go outside. And I've ordered a couple more outer boxes that I'll show you. But other than that, I think this device, battery on this device, it lasts me a cool 42 hours, I think it was, or something like that, or 46 hours. On average, I average at least 35 hours, and that's with about 5 to 7 hours of screen on time. And it's definitely doable. On my G2, it's about 48 hours or so, and about 5.5 hours of screen time, or about 6 hours of screen time. But this device can really bang it out. Even if you're watching videos, you can really get a lot of screen time when watching videos, and the battery doesn't die that fast. Check out some of the endurance videos on GSM Arena, and you'll see this phone can really last and go the test of time. So, Revisited, the LG G Flex. Do I like it? Yes, I love it. See you guys in the next one. LG G Flex.